Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast of Putting the Real in Real Estate. I am Art Wood, your host, your favorite mortgage guy on the planet. If you didn't know, just let me tell you. We are joined with one of my favorite referral partners and friends, Jackson Stout, which we're glad you're here. But if you watched the first podcast, he was on, but he was interviewing me, had me on the hot seat. So now it is your turn, my friend.
That's why this is warm today.
I know this is on the hot seat. I hope you got a chance to watch it. If you didn't, please go back and find it because Jackson and I have a lot of synergies and yeah, so we'll see where it comes. But Jackson, tell us a little bit about yourself in 30 minutes.
Okay, so start the timer. And I mean, you mentioned on the first one, the things that I would say like are my kind of like highlight titles of who I am is I'm an uncle to two of my favorite children on the planet. My nieces, they are everything to me. Dog dad, love to spend time with the dog out in the woods. We'll hint at the next one a little bit later in the show here, but love to cook. It's one of the things that keeps me sane in this crazy job that we wake up and choose to do every day because, the alternative is just not a healthy habit. So cooking is way better.
We'll get to that.
And then, one of the things that I love to do and put my body through a lot of torturous pain, I pay to run, which is baffling to a lot of people, but it gives me a lot of joy.
Here's the deal. If I'm running, call the cops. Somebody is chasing me. But so obviously you are a realtor. You've been a realtor. And I have to realize that you're not a realtor.
No, realtor.
Realtor.
It's one syllable.
With a capital R.
Yeah, trademarked, all that nonsense.
All that stuff. And who are you with? Pretend we don't know you and you're doing, your thing.
Perfect. Elevator pitch for Jackson. Been in real estate going on now for a total cumulative of 9 years here. I've been licensed as a realtor for the last 4.5. March this year will actually be my 5-year anniversary. So nice. I guess that's way over the half mark.
That's
math, not my thing. I'm with JD Kellum. We are a 2-man team here out of the Atlanta metro area, serving for me primarily everything in town. And we also do right outside the perimeter as well. We're at Keller Williams Realty in Peachtree Road. Met Art and some of our amazing friends through a referral network that we're both a part of. And, if I were to look back at the last 9 years, the only question that comes to mind is, what did I do for the first 26 to waste all that time?
No, I know. Well, I think with real estate in general, time is everything.
Most valuable resource we have at all.
Well, and not just how you spend your day, but I've talked to recently some folks that are 60 years old are getting into investing. Had they done that when they were 30?
My friends, if they'd be buying investment properties right now, what could we be doing in our retirement instead of using our Social Security?
That's exactly right. And personally, I fell into real estate and everything else. And I never really had a plan. And next thing you know, I own 13 properties and I'm like, who knew? So what made you decide to become a real estate agent?
It's funny because I went to University of Georgia. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Always. Advertising. Yep. Who's that coming down the tracks? Advertising major at Grady College. Literally thought my whole...
Grady?
It's the College of Journalism at UGA.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Yet, I thought at that time back in my early 20s that I was going to move to New York, work in advertising, follow Mad Men all the way through. Learned real quickly that's not what I wanted to do. While I was in school, I lived in an apartment complex in downtown Athens. So I started working as a leasing agent to get a little bit cheaper of discounted rent. Flash forward, graduated 6.5 years later, was running the whole property management group for almost 1,200 student housing beds. So that was my forte into the world of real estate, contracts, leases, rent collection. Flash forward, life events happen and you just realize you need a change of environment and scenery. End up getting a job opportunity with a boutique brokerage in Dunwoody. And when I say boutique, it's just because it's not one of your big box national brands. Locally owned and operated. I was working for the Rainmaker agent, helping as her, executive assistant. They did 75 plus deals a year, over 75 million in volume too, very nice price point. And then our whole world stopped. You remember that? COVID shut everything down. Yet for real estate, we got 13 days before the governor said that we were essential and we all got back to work. During that...
By the way, there was no traffic.
Anytime you could get anywhere. I drove from Brookhaven to Dunwoody in 13 minutes. Greatest... Actually, there's a funny story I'll tell you later offline about a date during the pandemic, but traffic was non-existent.
If we were live right now, I'd ask the audience if we really wanted to hear that right now, but we'll
I don't know that it's safe for work, so let's go. NSFW.
All right.
Definitely have that warning label going across the screen. But so every day, part of my COVID routine was walking my dog through a neighborhood across from my apartment. And, just like everybody, you poured your cup of choice for the evening and you went on the sunset walk and you stayed 10 feet away, but, acknowledged people from a distance.
With your mask on.
I can't say that I did.
All right. You're outside.
Yeah. Dog breathing too. We're fine.
Right.
But I saw the sign and it was like text for more information in front of a house for sale. As someone who worked for a brokerage, I was like, that is genius. People can get it. So I was like, let me see what happens. Next thing I know, I'm in this like constant barrage of communication from this agent trying to see if I want a tour. Am I interested in buying? And finally, I ignored a couple texts because we all get spams. And I was like, look, totally not interested. Work for a realtor. Don't need this.
Right.
Oh, well, tell me more. And I was like, tell me more what? So this agent was, relentless. And, to date, I credit Karen Smythe for being the reason why I got brought into KW.
She is relentless.
She is relentless.
Yep.
If you know her, you know that she is a bulldog that's going to fight for you.
Yep.
She's the first person that in my adult life challenged me, what do I want? We had a 2-hour meeting that I had to lie to my employer about where I was at to have that meeting.
What did you say you were?
I said I had to go to a doctor's appointment at 4:30.
All right.
Doesn't make sense. What doctor's
4:30?
But I was so afraid because Karen said, are you going to choose to show up for your life or are you going to continue showing up for someone else's? And that hit me. And I was like, I don't know who this person is, but I need to go figure out why I'm supposed to be in this room. Flash forward 2 years later, I'm licensed at KW on her team. From there, life has just catapulted to a world that I didn't even know was possible by getting licensed in real estate.
You are, I remember, so with JD,
Mm-hmm.
he was bringing you in as JD 2.0, which y'all are the same in some ways and very different in other ways.
We are. We have a very older brother, younger brother relationship, and that good age gap of one's in high school, one's in middle school. So there's love, but there's still enough
Well, how does that, I'm just interested, how do what's the vision or responsibilities?
Totally. Yeah. So, what was nice is when I met JD and became his business partner, like you said, I was brought in kind of like mini-me. And the whole setup was Jackson's going to work with all the buyers. I'm going to handle all the listings. And we're just going to become this powerhouse 2-man team. What we quickly realized is we both have strengths that are the other's exact gaps. Yeah. I cannot spend any time in the creative world, which is funny because
Interesting.
A lot of people think that I have
marketing,
all that.
Right.
And it's not that I don't like it. It's that I know myself. My perfectionism and OCD, which is why I'm so grateful I never ended up in it because I don't know how I'd ever meet deadlines for projects. I could be working on a logo or a flyer for 2.5 hours and not even realize it.
Okay.
Is that where my greatest strength is? No, my strength is out there being with clients, meeting new people, opening doors, shaking hands versus JD, who has, been in the business for almost 19 years now.
He's been in probably going to 20. He's definitely going to 20.
Sure. See, math again.
Sorry.
That's not my strong suit.
My bad.
Yet what we realize is he loves those 30,000 foot conversations.
Yeah.
The big business, your visioning, your planning. I am execution, run fast, bull in a china shop. If you break it, pay for it. We know next time not to hit that thing.
Yep.
What's funny is we balance each other out. Where he wants to look for the vision and the planning, I don't have the patience for, and I love that because he does. And then we come together and we are very, very crystal clear now. How we started 4 years ago to where we're at now is totally different. Our division now is we run everything as our goal is to have 1,500 people that know, like, and trust us. So everything we're doing this year is to go make more relationships. And we know by having those relationships, because if you haven't met JD, I know you know him very well, probably way more charismatic than I am. The man walks in a room, first thing he's noticed based on how he's dressed.
Yeah, true.
Second thing is how he talks. He's extremely just prophetic and just amazing orator. Whereas sometimes, I'm a little bit more punch you in the face, velvet sledgehammer. There's a soft touch.
I'll go with that.
But also not
y'all definitely have a different communications.
We do. I like to be over communicative. He's kind of like a man of mystery. Sometimes, less is more with him, whereas I'm probably going to beat you over the head and let you know exactly what we're doing. Yet what we found is we come together for a 1 hour kind of like huddle every week, and that's where we outline the business objectives.
Yep.
And then I 100% just go execute.
Just your next.
His hand has come off of that. That way there's no delay. And what
Right.
we found is us both having our lanes and operating where our best use is has made us so successful today.
Well, we talked about it a little bit on the last podcast, but team means everything. From making sure things get handled, but also to scale, because there's only so much time in a day. So you and JD that you've decided that, but who else is on the team? Maybe not on the Kellum group, but on your team that helps you achieve your goals.
You're all honorary members at the round table. You have a seat and a placard.
Do you have a round table?
We should get a round table. I'm going to go get one now and probably buy a sword too, because why not? But what I love that you mentioned there is the team is the leverage.
Yep.
And that's one thing that JD saw and had the vision of. If I bring somebody into my world, I then get time back, resources, and energy. Same thing for us when we're working with clients. It's not just me and JD as realtors.
Sure.
It's not only just you as our lender partner. We are two of like the 10-man team that helps every client get to closing. We have relationships with our amazing home inspector, our preferred closing attorneys, title examiners, everything from a painter to a pressure washer to a flooring expert to, those lesser attractive things that cost a lot more money, from, the air quality, our least favorite word in the world,
mold,
moisture. We never say the M word. But roofers, whatever that is. And what's amazing is we don't know who we have to call up to play in every game. Until we get on the court, it could just be you and I and the closing attorney. Sometimes, like that one deal, how many people did we bring out in that house with? 8. Literally almost every home improvement type of work needed to be done in this house. So that's what I love about our team and our network and the relationships that we've built is we have a Rolodex. We know who to call. And I know when I pick up that phone, you're going to answer. The inspector is going to answer. The attorney is there to help out. And that's what makes everything so harmonious with our group is we don't have challenges that we can't overcome because we know who to call and we've set expectations up front of what will happen.
Well, I think it's a value. It's something you can sell, but I think it brings value to the client because I think a lot of folks think that a realtor. In fact, I remember 2008.
I was still in high school for all of you, by the way. Go Warriors.
I started a BNI chapter, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But there was a guy and there's a realtor in there as well. And there was a guy that bought a house and he says, I don't know why we're paying the realtor 3% or 6% or whatever, because he says, I'm the one that found the house. I'm, whatever. I think there is a huge, there are realtors that do that. I know personally that you and JD are not those kind of realtors, but talk about the value of what that brings to a client and what it looks like behind the scenes, maybe not a typical, hey, Art, get a pre-qual, they're perfect credit, the house is pristine, but what does it look like behind the scenes for you?
Well, and what I love is, so many people, like you mentioned, have this image of what we do as realtors. They think it's glamorous. Selling Sunset has ruined the image. They think we wear fancy clothes, drive nice cars, show up, cash $200,000 check. That does happen every once in a while. I call that the gifts from the realtor gods. It's the unicorn deal. You get usually one every couple of years. The real nitty gritty is most of our deals require a lot of work. And what clients don't often know in advance or see because people are afraid to show the honest work that happens, all they want to do is realtors nowadays film a fancy TikTok trend and think that they're going to go viral. Our job comes from being able to set expectations up front. Here's how the process looks from the day that you get pre-approved to the closing table. Yet what we have to do is navigate each one of those hurdles during that process. Yep. And so many agents just are not prepared to equip their clients to know, if you have faith in me because you've hired me to do my job, this is when my job starts. Right. And that's my favorite part to explain to a client. Opening a door, not a part of my job description. Writing a contract, not even really the most important part.
Sure.
I don't know if you've seen it, but they have blanks. We literally just fill in the blanks.
Yep.
That part's not complicated. Navigating what works for the seller's needs what the buyer wants to consider a win, and then finding a way that both of those two things have to find a compromise, because the compromise is the win. Far and few is it, hey, here's what I want, and it lines up exactly with what the other side wants.
Such thing as a good deal unless everybody wins. You know, everybody it's not a good deal if somebody felt like they got ripped.
And that's the part that I think so many young realtors don't understand. Our job is to get everyone to the closing table.
Right.
Having a great team makes it really easy for us. And when you may need to go get other help. And that's what I love about JD is he taught me asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually the greatest display of like courage that you can have. There are times where I've called you and I don't know what to do. And you help guide me and the clients to get where we need to go.
That brings up another story. I don't want to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt.
Do it.
Jackson and I are at a holiday party. We've had a few beverages.
They might have been spiked.
Few beverages. And I had a client of mine that was having a struggle with her seller.
Yeah.
And she was calling me for advice. And first and foremost, we talked about this in the last one, we should stay in our lane. You know, I know enough about real estate to be dangerous, and Jackson knows enough about mortgages to be dangerous. And she's like, what do I do? And I'm going, hold please. And I went in the middle of the party, Jackson!
He's knocking on the window from outside with the cell phone going, come here.
And he hopped out and had a 30-minute conversation. And I don't know, she asked for your number after that. And I don't know if y'all ever talked again.
No, but I think one of the key moments there is as successful realtors, lenders, like we have a duty to give back and help.
Sure.
If you're not willing to help our peer, what are you doing here? This is not a dog eat dog business. There are almost 7.5 million people in Atlanta. There's plenty of money for all of us to enjoy. Plenty. Don't even remember her name, but you're right. We sat there all night. We helped her, and I think it won.
I think she's closing on February 3rd.
See, held it together, and it's for a total stranger. And I think that's the key part of like winning in this industry is helping who needs help in that moment. Sometimes it's a client that has no idea how they can afford to buy a house. Great. Let's outline everything and see if it's feasible or if we need to build a plan for you to do that.
Well, one of the number one questions I get, because people are hesitant to come to us when they're not trying to buy a house tomorrow. And so how many times have you gotten the question, Jackson, I think I may want to buy a house, in the next year or two. Is it a waste of your time to talk now, or should we just wait for a year or two? How many? No. Oh, yeah, just wait for 2 years.
Literally, every person's like, I don't want to waste your time. Like, and the funniest thing is a lot of our clients start out as those conversations.
Right.
It is a gift that falls in our lap when someone says, I'm ready to buy or sell tomorrow. We love it. You love it. Everyone's happy. We have a quick time frame. The system gets started.
How often do you wake up and go, I think I'll buy a house today?
Let's see. I'm 34 and I still haven't done it yet.
You don't.
Fun fact. I promise I won't be the worst patient. But no, like the truth of the matter is a lot of people start these conversations very conversationally. Hey, Art, I was referred to you by my cousin. They had a great experience with you. I want to buy a house. I just don't know that it's feasible right now. Or maybe it's somebody that's applying for a job relocation. So they already have a time frame. Sure. Work is relocating them August of this fall. Great. Well, how do we start that conversation so we can set them up? And I love that. I would want to build trust and earn the right to have your business over time.
That's right.
Than you just blindly saying, okay, I'll sign. Sure. There's people that come in on our website or reach out on social media that are like, hey, I think I want to buy. And sometimes it works out like that. Yet a majority of our clients come from nurturing that conversation, building them a map to their success plan, whether that's selling in 6 months or buying when they get the promotion in, X months or sometimes a year. Fun fact, my longest, let's call it conversion, was I had a conversation with someone in 2022. They closed on their house last year in 25. Is that 3 years?
Yeah. You're not.
How many realtors out there will carry on a relationship for 3 years? Because when do we get paid? At closing. Nothing before.
Nope.
And that's why I think it's so unique when you find someone in this industry that truly is there to serve. Because when you come out there and your goal is helping whatever their financial goals are, whether it's buying their first home, buying their first investment property, congratulations, in the world of realtors, my favorite thing to focus on is the 6 Ds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Diamonds,
divorce,
diapers, divorce, death, dispatch. There's another one. Can't remember. That's the fun fact about it.
It's really not a 16.
There's
There are 16.
There is. Very small. That's why. But when those major life moments are happening in clients' world, we're there to help. And if you know how to remove yourself from the financial part of that equation,
Right.
and you are truly there to make it be the best fit for them and their need and their time frame, then the win-win presents itself super simple. Younger agents that are, or, not even just by age, but like new into the industry, that first year is so tough.
Yeah.
They have what we refer to as commission breath. I've got to get this closed. I just need one client. If I could just get that listing sold. And it comes off as desperation.
Yep.
Yet there will come a season when you get to choose when to work and you don't have to chase every opportunity.
Yeah, I think, well, that was what I wanted to get to as well. What, as a new agent, would you do? But and we'll get to that.
Mhm.
But one of the things that I love about it, like if I had to encapsulate you into one word, would just be the Energizer Bunny.
That's 2
I
words.
know. I was gonna
But I'll
2
take
words.
it.
You always show up. Uh, and that's hard. I've had a lot of conversations in the last several years about introverts and extroverts and where you draw your energy and stuff. But being the professional you are, I've never seen you do the hard sell, where you're okay saying, oh, and similar to me on an email, like, just let me know how I can be a resource.
Mhm.
But it speaks wonders of you that you create a relationship for 3 years that they still thought of it, because that's the other thing that happens a lot of times is you talk to them 2 years ago, you give them a lot of information. 2 years later, they've never heard from you
You
again.
may do a lunch or
Right.
one phone call, but it's hard. And part of our job is the follow-up.
Yeah.
The work is not glamorous.
It seems glamorous.
Closing day is amazing. Everyone's happy.
When you're on podcast, it seems glamorous.
All those days, those nights, those weekends, those holidays where you are there answering their questions, you are answering that text, late at night because something's come up and they just have a concern. I find that our job is more, I don't want to say being a therapist, but in all reality, we are usually helping them navigate an emotional response.
Yeah.
A buyer makes an offer. How does the seller respond?
Sometimes they may not respond. You got to tell them you have 24 hours to respond, or whatever.
So, navigating those emotional moments, helping be there to let them talk is important. And then, like you mentioned, the way I show up, not to quote Spider-Man, but, Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility. I don't know why God gave me this energy.
Yeah.
A lot of people have tried to figure out if we can medically capitalize on it. I am here for that downline and passive income. There is a duty, I feel like, when you have that just spark that people are magnetically attracted to show up in all avenues of your life that way. And I'm going to be fully transparent, there are moments where I'm not there.
Yeah.
There are moments where I'm like, nope, phone's going off, going for a run. I call it naked runs. There's no phone, no watch, no AirPods, me, my thoughts until I can shut them up.
Yeah.
Which sometimes, based on what's happening in life at that moment, is 2 hours. Sometimes it's a mile.
Yeah, I feel you, because I'm similar, just in an older body.
Older body by age.
By age, but it is. It's like, sometimes you just go like, it's like, I'm trying to invite folks to my networking group. I'm trying to invite folks to my 90s shows, my 90s band show. I'm trying to invite people to church, my golf tournament, Taste of Tucker, to do business, all this kind of stuff. And sometimes you just say no and whatever.
No is one of the most rewarding things that anyone in any industry can learn. Like you talked about, as a younger agent, you're always having to have that next opportunity.
Yeah.
Full transparency, my first year, I was paycheck to paycheck. It took 2.5 years to where I was not chasing every opportunity to make $1. And what I tell people is, that's a season of your life. It's not the reason. There are going to be a time where you have to grind and hustle as much as you can. And it's like the gym. Consistency will pay off
100%.
all day. So if you do the right things and you set your time up, your schedule, where you're allocating your energy, then you never hit that point of total depletion.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, I'm thinking as you're talking, is I'd rather you say no than to show up but not be there.
100%. And
you put it in.
You mentioned all the things that you balance. I feel the same. I'm a business partner, realtor, I got a dog at home. I'm a millennial dog dad. I have grief when I think about he's at home for 6 hours and I'm not there. On top of that, I'm in Keller Williams Young Professionals. I serve as our Atlanta chapter president, also on the National Board of Advisors for the whole community nationwide. I live in Midtown and I'm the Young Professionals in Midtown chair. I take a lot on my plate, and the way that I can do it and show up at everything is by following my calendar.
So tell me about the YP, Young Professionals.
Mhm.
What drove you to do that? What do you get out of it? What do you pour into it?
If you asked anybody within the community, they would probably tell you that I pour my heart and soul into it because it's true.
Seems that way.
I was blessed to have been awarded in 2024 Year of the Year for all of Keller Williams, which was a huge shock and
In the nation.
in the nation for all of KW agents. And that was a blessing in my life where I realized showing up and being there, and a lot of it was that energy, just the amount of times that people say, like, the way that you showed up, or you took 2 minutes out of your day to answer my question when you have no tie to this deal whatsoever. I fully believe that it is our job to give back. Whether it's the younger generation or your current generation or the peers, like, there are agents in my office that tell me they learned something from me and they've been doing it for 30 years. I'm only 4 years into the business.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. And what I love is, like you mentioned on our first podcast, we are always looking to be growth minded. And I think when you enter the room looking for these 3 things: 1, who can I learn from? 2, what can I bring back to share? And then 3, can I make someone smile? Everything that you do for the rest of that day will be just check.
Yeah.
You're completing your day and ending on a high note. I heard one time someone say, it costs nothing to make someone smile, but it costs everything to make them frown. And it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I have a fun story about that. My dad had passed away in 2007. He passed away from prostate cancer. So he made me go get my PSA checked before he died. And now I would do it. In fact, got to do it next month. On my mom's birthday, I'd go get my PSA checked. And I walk in and I'm scared of needles anyway, but there's a guy and their young guy that's sitting in any labs or something, and he does not want to be there. And you know my personality, and I'm like, well, I'm going to make it fun for you anyway.
Yeah, you're here.
And I didn't, it's innate in you, it's innate in me, but I didn't think anything about it. But when we got done, my dad said, he says, you were bound and determined. You weren't leaving that place until you got him to smile.
And it's true.
And I didn't know I was doing it, but I finally did. I mean, it took, I was there 15, 20 minutes, and it probably took all 15 minutes to whatever. And I was saying something, but he's like, you were trying, you were pulling everything just to make him smile.
Well, and what I can relate to that is, like, part of what attracted me to the YP community was collaboration. Our motto for our community is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast and far, go with KWYP. And what I love is there is someone that does whatever you're trying to learn or master and harness that skill at the highest level already. And they will take all the time in the world to help you learn so that you don't have to go through the years that it took them.
Right.
My favorite takeaway from YP, though, just kind of following your story, it taught me about gratitude. You saw in that moment that that person probably had no gratitude for being in that room. Yet
Zero.
You were like, I can change the way that they see, even if it's just this 5-minute glimpse in their day, by trying to make them have some joy. And that is what I look at every opportunity, every conversation, every YP event. Who can I completely change the course? I don't want to say like I changed their life, but like that day, if someone's I'm the same way. I kind of isolate and see who needs a little pick me up.
Yeah.
It's a dopamine hit to feed other people.
And probably for you, it's not conscientious. I mean, just do it.
Naturally. Yeah. Physical touch person, high energy love. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to pump you up. The greatest gift I think that we have is when you discover your superpower, your talent, which everyone has one. If you haven't, let's set up a time to have a conversation.
Let's find out.
We'll help you uncover it. When you figure out where you're operating and you're in your highest and best use, just like property, highest and best use of this property is X, what is your super talent? When you find that and you're operating in it, it's like right now, there's a smile. I don't even know that I'm smiling, but it's because I love
And you make me
YP.
smile by saying
And it happens like when you're passionate about something like real estate, we're so good at our jobs because we have a passion for helping people and serving. And when you're doing that, everything else falls into place. When you're trying to make money, sometimes things go awry.
then you'll never work a day in your life. And
Yeah, I haven't worked in 4 years.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? So to circle back a little bit, how did you grow the team? Because there's a lot of folks that feel like on an island.
Oh, 100%.
And I know and then let's parlay that into what's your greatest tip for the number one, for a brand new agent. But a lot of folks come in, they try to do it all on their own. They try to figure it out. But how did you grow the team?
The nice thing for me is I had a little bit of a background working on the admin side of real estate before I got licensed. So that gave me a tremendous understanding of the contracts. So when I got licensed, I already had that leg up. JD didn't really have to kind of help me learn how to be a realtor. What JD taught me about was navigating clients and when and how to have conversations about the information that we've learned. And growing our team, we identified where both of our strengths were. We also identified our strengths.
Strengths were? I thought you said something about first string. I was like, I don't know.
When you identify your strengths, you also, by default, identify your gaps. Yep. Our gap is managing the paperwork. Our gap is the scheduling of all the appointments. Our gap is being in the car for hours instead of just the hard part of the deal and negotiating. Right. So when we looked at how can we grow our team, we knew we needed leverage. And that leverage is people to take on those things that are not in our top 20% of activity. The 80% work that bogs us down, same thing like you. You have built out a team to take on things so you can focus on what's great. So we have a transaction coordinator. Tia handles everything.
She's wonderful.
Amazing. I literally don't even know what happens in the contract process. I don't even know how we submit things to our office to get paid because Tia handles it. Yep. So that's amazing. When it comes to the showings, we use, and I love supporting new agents. Let's get you some experience and you can help me. You're going to go out and show these clients today. I'm going to go for the first 2 houses and then the other 5 they want to see, you're going to go show them. You're going to give me a feedback. So what did I do? I gained my time back. I'm giving a new agent the opportunity to earn some money by showing doors for me. And they're getting experience of how to have conversations with clients without jeopardizing losing their own client. And then lastly, like when it comes to like all the other vendors, I am not a roofer. I am not a mold specialist, moisture specialist.
Don't say that word.
I'm not. So we've built the team of having those experts in those fields. So if somebody wants to know what's it going to cost to renovate this kitchen, great. I'm going to send photos. I'm going to take the inspection report. We're going to have you a quote in 2 hours because that's not my job. So when you learn what you're good at and what you're not, and you find people to fill those gaps, the team just naturally forms itself.
How did you find all those service people?
Oh, I love that you bring this up because like you mentioned earlier, we're in a BNI network.
Yep.
And for those of you who don't know, it's Business Networking International. And
the largest networking organization in the world.
It is. And we are a part of the amazing Decatur chapter where everything is greater. And being in that network, it's a closed environment. So what that means is like our friend Art here, only mortgage guy, only residential realtor. So it keeps 1 seat per industry. That way you're not competing for business so that everyone in that room has the opportunity to build relationships, foster growth, and give referrals. Also, that comes with, owning your job and doing a good thing. How many people have unfortunately not been able to return to the chapter in your time?
Yes, a few.
If you don't show up, you don't live by the community standards, givers gain, all the other items that make Decatur BNI so great, then we find someone who is. And what I love about that type of accountability is I don't have to question when I call that person. Because if they're not showing up for BNI, they're definitely not showing up for my client. 100%. So they're not going to be the person I refer. But having that database of vendors and partners to be like, I need this. And what comes with that is the ability to get it on a dime's notice versus calling somebody you search on
their cell phone instead of something else. And actually there was somebody in the chapter one time that I wanted to use for business and she would not let me call her cell phone. And I'm like, well, then I'm not, and maybe I'm not doing business with you, but I was like, that's just weird. I want to do business with friends, but.
Well, and when you're doing business with people that like and trust, everything is so easy. You don't have those reservations or those concerns. Did they do this? I know if I call our roofer, Joel's going when he says he's going. He's going to send me documentation that he's done, and the warranty is going to be passed off to the homeowner.
The clients are going to love him, and it's done really well. So we got to wrap it up here. I got 2 more questions.
Yes.
I think we've covered a lot about what you would do with a brand new agent. What is, and this will speak to BNI as well, your horror story, your one horror story in 4 years?
It's actually literally going on right now, live. Like this, there's still no answer to how this is playing out.
Fantastic. The gift that keeps giving.
It's the gift that keeps giving. And I have to say, this one is not by anyone's fault yet. You know, sometimes clients come to us and they already have their team assembled. They don't want to change and they're completely obstinate. I have a lender. I don't need your people. You're being hired to do the deal. Not my favorite type of client to work with. I want to have comfort and joy in knowing that the people that are on the team are working out. Well, in this particular scenario, said buyer has already got his own lender relationship. Guess what? It's a big box bank. You and I both know that means I don't have a number I can call after hours. It also means that there's very rigid criteria that everything's going to go through.
Yep.
We were issued an appraisal waiver. The day before closing last week, the bank revoked the appraisal waiver. We are less than 24 hours before closing.
Right.
Are past the buyer's financing and appraisal contingency. We are out of due diligence, which you know enough to be dangerous. What does that mean for his earnest money?
You don't get it.
Unless we close.
You got to close.
So we had to beg and plead and fight all the way up to the listing agent's broker to get an extension from the seller because they were refusing to extend to allow an appraisal to occur. Without the appraiser, the buyer can't close on the loan. Right. Not a great situation. In addition to doing that, then the appraiser required some repairs.
No.
As if that's not bad enough, this client was buying this as an investment and it needed a full rehab. So I had used my database of networks and have the tile guy, the kitchen guy, the flooring guy, the roof, everyone lined up to start work. And of course, in this perfect storm of closing getting delayed last Friday, having to do an extension for the appraisal to occur, there was a miscommunication between one of the vendors that closing had not occurred yet. And when I met the appraiser there is no flooring in the basement. 2 of the toilets and the tile in the bathrooms have already been taken out because they were unaware that closing got delayed and had started the renovations.
So you still haven't closed?
We haven't closed. We did get everything worked out. This is one of those things where who you have in your network is really the only way to keep you alive. Without our people, our roofer got the roof problem fixed. The plumber is there literally putting a toilet back in because they will not close without a working toilet. And the appraiser's got to go back out and re-inspect. Yet I'm here live with you. I have no idea what's going on. When we get out of here, we'll find out the answer. What's funny is I came into this today with a story in mind, and then real life is overcoming it because this industry is incredibly unique and every deal is different.
So glamorous, so easy, right?
I hauled a toilet up 3 flights of stairs because it was going to cost extra to get it up.
I happen to know one of our closings too. The client that was selling said they were leaving a piece of furniture and they did not, and they did not. There was a miscommunication, and JD and Jackson bought a new piece of furniture for them.
It's not a cheap piece of furniture either.
It was not, but that's what you do to make sure everybody has a great experience. Last question: if you were not a realtor, if you were not a real estate agent, what would you be doing?
I'd be cooking for you and your wife every night as a private chef.
You're fired. He told me that earlier, so I knew it was coming. I was like, well, he said cooking really makes him happy. I said, well, great. Eating really makes me happy.
And the reason why is, our industry, like what's happening live right now, a lot of realtors would be losing their mind. They'd be crying. They'd be freaking out. No one knew. You didn't know. Calm, cool, and collected, because guess what? I can only control the things that I can control. When the landscape changed, here's the new course of action. We just got to move forward. For me, the way I respond to the stress of this job, the fact that the tax of being a realtor is late nights, working on holidays, missing family functions when clients need to see properties and whatnot, is my outlets to release all of that and decompress is cooking.
Cooking and running.
And vunkling, all those things. But like cooking to me is just the ultimate, like just pure release of everything to me, because you take raw ingredients, just like in real estate with the problem solving. What am I going to cook?
Nice.
My favorite great idea for date night, do this for your wife. She'll love you. But you have to do the cooking. You can't just pawn it off on her.
Can you come do the cooking?
Yeah. So you take 50, 60 bucks, determine whatever amount, head over to DeKalb's Farmer's Market. You two each have half of whatever total amount you agree with. You each have to get 3 ingredients and you're going home and you're cooking. It's like an episode of Chopped. But for me, like, it's such a fun moment because you get to figure out what is there, what can we create together. And then in cooking, like, it all comes together and everything is so satisfying and you watch your hard work pay off. And then you get to look at that delicious steak that everyone's drooling at on my Instagram story.
I love it. It's like a nice closing.
It is all wrapped up, but I have total control in the cooking. So like, that's why it's my release, because I know exactly the outcome.
I control the outcome.
Unless I mix up my salt and sugar because there's too many glasses of wine happening.
Right. That's hilarious. Well, Jackson, it has been a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys for watching Putting the Real in Real Estate, and we'll see you next time. Peace.